So imagine this. You're strolling through a beautiful French village, soaking in the scenery, when suddenly you find yourself in a bit of a bind because you happen to bring along your pet pig, which you've affectionately named Napoleon. In France, there's a law that might get you into some trouble. Yes, it's true. It sets the stage for a fascinating dive into some of the most peculiar laws you'll find in the country known for its rich culture, romance, and of course, a few surprising rules. While this rule about pig naming might seem ridiculous at first glance, there's an underlying current of historical reverence tucked away here. This law finds its roots in the respect for one of France's most renowned historical figures, Napoleon Bonaparte. Having a pig with such a prestigious name is seen as a slight, an inappropriate jest at the expense of history. It's a rather curious collision of humor and respect that only makes sense once you realize just how deeply ingrained Napoleon's legacy is in French history. Venturing deeper into the realm of French legal eccentricities, let's travel from pigs to pastries, the infamous bread law. France is known for its delicious breads, and nothing is more iconic than the traditional baguette. But did you know there are rules regarding how you make one? That's right. French bakers must adhere to strict regulations when baking what can officially be termed as a traditional baguette. These laws stipulate that a true baguette can only contain 3 ingredients: flour, yeast, and salt, and nothing else. Furthermore, it should not be frozen at any point during its process. This ensures that what you're biting into is a purely artisanal product, steeped in tradition. It's a testament to how seriously France takes its culinary heritage. Now, speaking of antiquated legislation, let's head to the city of love, Paris, where the laws can get as dramatic as a romance novel. For example, kissing on train platforms was once illegal. Yes, this rule was introduced in 1910 and aimed at preventing the delays caused by long, tearful goodbyes. Can you imagine getting in trouble for being too romantically dramatic? While this law is no longer enforced today, it gives quite the image of passionate farewells throwing off entire train schedules. France's legal system can be traced back through centuries, often shaped by social changes and historical events. This brings us to another peculiar law that was in place until just recently. Women were not allowed to wear trousers in Paris without a permit. Dating back to 1800, the reasoning behind this law was quite archaic, tying into the traditional beliefs of gender roles and how women were expected to present themselves. Although largely ignored, the law technically remained on the books until 2013. Cities like Paris slowly adapted to changing social norms, but the remnants of these old laws remind us of past eras where fashion could have legal consequences. Further north, in the charming region of Normandy, lies a law that highlights the importance of safeguarding French language purity. There is a restriction against using any English on official merchandise meant to sell food and drink products. This law is part of a broader effort to preserve the French language in the face of globalization. It's both a cultural stance and a legal one, showcasing the pride France holds in its linguistic heritage. As we move from language to animals, did you know there are restrictions surrounding certain sea creatures too? That's right. In the commune of Brittany, there's a uniquely compassionate law prohibiting lobsters from being kept on display in restaurant tanks. The rationale: it's all about animal welfare. The French believe that the crustaceans deserve a degree of respect and shouldn't suffer in small tanks before finding their way to a plate. Now, let's talk about wine for a minute. France, synonymous with vineyards and elite wines, naturally has laws concerning wine quality. But did you know that advertising wine faces strict scrutiny? There's legislation that prevents advertisements from showing people consuming wine, to ensure that marketing doesn't encourage excessive drinking. This law is quite reflective of France's protective stance over its wine industry, highlighting a cultural appreciation combined with a commitment to health. The next odd law also involves one of France's deeply rooted traditions, the Tour de France. During this iconic cycling race, there's a curious regulation about public urination. Cyclists absolutely must not relieve themselves in public view. Although this sounds merely like sensible public decorum, the unique challenge of staying hydrated while adhering to such a rule adds an interesting wrinkle to the race. Despite the oddity, this law upholds the dignity of the event, preventing the roadside of France's picturesque routes from becoming something else entirely. Interestingly, stepping into the supernatural, there's also a law against flying saucer landings. In the Breton town of Châteauneuf-du-Pape, there exists a decree dating from 1954 forbidding the landing of flying saucers and flying cigars, another term from the mid-20th century referring to UFOs. While the ruling sounds like something out of a sci-fi film, its reasoning stems from the town's ownership of vineyards, an odd marriage between agriculture and extraterrestrial precaution. Moving from UFOs to natural elements, French law also includes provisions for more earthly concerns like emus on the lam. Should you find an emu on the road, the law states that traffic must yield to the runaway bird. This law likely remains due to the rural areas where such animals might be farmed, though encountering an emu on the road is an unlikely scenario for most. Moreover, believe it or not, there's a law requiring municipalities to provide a minimum quantity of sunshine to citizens. Enacted as part of French labor law, this rule entitles workers to light and the luminosity needed in their workplaces. It's an intriguing legal take on ensuring the well-being of residents by recognizing the psychological and health benefits associated with exposure to natural light. Let's not forget the la loi caractérielle, or the characteristic law, which involves a rather bizarre scenario of ghost marriage. Granted, posthumous marriage isn't a frequent occurrence, but French law permits marrying someone who has passed away under specific circumstances. The intent here is more solemn than strange, often associated with honoring commitments made prior to unexpected deaths, though it requires a serious legal process and is rarely granted. While entering the realm of regulations governing the environment, France has also delved into banning supermarkets from throwing away edible food. This pioneering law was introduced to reduce food waste significantly. Supermarkets are required to donate the excess food to charities and food banks. It reflects France's proactive stance in addressing food security and environmental sustainability, ensuring efforts are made toward commendable social responsibility. And the quirks don't stop there. Moving back to animal-related laws, let's take a moment to appreciate that in France, there is a law requiring owners to microchip their cats. This legislation is part of broader animal welfare laws designed to ensure pets can be easily identified and reunited with their owners if lost or stolen. It's a thoughtful touch reflecting the value placed on animal companionship and care in French society. Additionally, here's an offbeat regulation related to taxi fares. In French cities, there's an ordinance stipulating that any taxi driver who exceeds an unmetered mile has to offer the service for free. This old law was intended to prevent fare inflation in urban settings, keeping the customer's best interests in mind. As we explore these unusual laws, one must consider their origins and cultural relevance. Many stem from bygone eras, maintaining a nostalgic charm while others evolve to respond to modern issues. France's blend of history, tradition, and innovation highlights how legal quirks, no matter how odd, often serve a purpose. Whether it's jestingly planning a UFO, defending linguistic purity, or placing respect upon a heritage of baguettes and wines, these laws draw us into a narrative rich with historical layers. Each peculiar rule, from pigs named Napoleon to UFOs taking a no-landing stance, encapsulates a slice of French culture. The layers of meaning tethered to these laws offer insights into societal priorities, values, and shifts. Instead of simply following the letter of regulation, they invite contemplation on why such unique stipulations exist in the first place. The next time you find yourself wandering through a quaint French square or marveling at a bustling Parisian boulevard, remember these legal oddities. They might just explain the humorous tales behind a name, the absence of complex bread recipes, or even why you're handed an extra leaflet on wine's heritage without a sip in sight. This tapestry of captivating laws paints France as more than an artistic or culinary capital. It's a country where laws, however quirky, embody grace, historical mindfulness, and a unique flair for life's eccentricity. And who knows? Perhaps that ghost marriage, flying saucer peacekeeping, or bread purity requirement represents precisely what keeps France a perennial source of fascination. This has been a journey through some of the most unusual corners of French law. Let us know which one surprised you the most in the comments below. Whether you find these laws bonkers or brilliant, they're certainly captivating snapshots of a particular place and a certain time. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more fascinating and odd legal tales from around the world, sharing stories that you never knew you needed to hear.